This right here, my friends, is the island, and we've all survived here at least once or twice in our journeys in this game, but this time will be different. I will be challenging myself to take down the savage acro within 100 days, and as all of us know, that's no easy task. And as if the savage acro wasn't enough, I also challenged myself to take down one of the island bosses on alpha. But enough has been said. My friends, please sit back, grab a snack, enjoy the show, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get started. On the beautiful morning of day one, I woke up on the beach, scratched my arm, then my head. Because I had no hair, so I had to go ahead and make myself Syzen. So give me a second. There we go, that's so much better. Okay, let's get started. So after naming my chibi, I started gathering all the essential stones, fiber, thatch, and wood, and then I crafted the tools I would need to be able to start my survival journey. I crafted a pickaxe, a hatchet, campfire, and this reusable spear that was part of a mod that I downloaded. So after killing the local wildlife and then crafting some more essentials, I went ahead and inspected some of the creatures from this mod. Please be nice. Level 24. Anyways, with nighttime approaching, I needed to build a little shelter. That way I'd have protection from some of these weird monsters. Hello! While I waited for night to pass, I farmed a buttload of stone to craft cooking pots. That way I could get some extra experience. And then I made a full set of hide armor, then came across this Rex that shouldn't have been here. So I made my way further along the beach and searched for a friend when I found this thing. Oh, what the hell? I'm just gonna stay over here. Dude, is that a fish on land? What is this? I'm gonna leave. So I headed out, found a safer area when I came across this giant Spinosaurus and decided to tame it. It was a simple tame, it just took mejo berries, but it was very, very time consuming. I was on top of this thing for a full day before it decided to be mine. Are we there yet? So after feeding it some more, and more, and more, and again, and one more time, it was finally mine. I shall name you Carmen. Afterwards, I of course made a saddle for it, and then took it out for a spin to see what it could do, and man, the berry collection was amazing. But life can't just be about berries, so I rolled out to try and find a base location when I got into a fight and realized that Carmen is terrible at fighting. With that set aside, after exploring a little bit, I found a nice location next to this waterfall, so I wasted no time, got a foundation and forge placed down and started smelting some metal. Then looking at my inventory, I saw this AC2 loot crate that I must have gotten from being near an alpha death, and it gave me a bunch of good loot. After making some narcotics and a smithy, I had to dip out of my base because an alpha dropped down and tried to kill me. I don't know what this thing is, but the way it roared is hilarious. With alphas lurking at every corner, I had to make some beds and then ping my base location on the map. But I wanted better survivability too, so I crafted chitin armor and then headed out to find myself a flyer. So I made my way towards the beautiful beaches and found this level 120, which by the way is the max level on my server. And with some cowboy skills and a beautiful shot to the noggin, I got this guy knocked out. But of course that didn't last long because while I was out getting prime meat, apparently the thing died, so I had to find a new one. And just like old times, cowboy skills, beautiful shot to the noggin, and it's knocked out again. While waiting on the PT to tame, I felt a little violent, so I got revenge on a couple of creatures and then headed home with this crazy guy. These things never fail to make the trip home fun. When I got back to my base, I made a PT saddle, made a crossbow, and then headed out to go find some resource nodes when I came across this dragon thing. Okay, we'll go this way. With some determination, I found metal and crystal, which is what I was looking for. That way I could make soul traps to carry around extra dinos, and that way I could make an awesome spyglass. And even though I'm a YouTuber and not a mod seller, I figured I'd showcase this for you. It tells you all the beautiful stuff you need to know about a creature, how to tame it, how much torpor it has. Basically, it's helpful. Anyways, PT sucks, so I found this decent level RG and started tranking it out, because they're overall great utility creatures. We'll call you Hubert. While waiting on the RG to tame, I figured I'd make myself useful and get an Enki as well. And come morning of day 7, I named the RG Tina, and I named the Enki Dave. After naming them, I potted them both up, and then of course started heading home. But on the way, I found an Explorer note, which if you didn't know, well, actually you do know what these are. They're amazing. When I got home, I started farming chitin, that way I could make the RG saddle and the Enki saddle, and then, of course, the next morning, I got straight to farming. I used some of my newfound metal for a sickle and then headed out with Carmen when I got jumped by this mantis and it destroyed everything I loved. Or one thing I loved, which was everything. I guess we can say I traded Carmen for a bunch of organic polymer? I needed something else other than 4 pieces of wood to call my base, so I started adding on to it. Then I crafted an upgrade station which allows you to upgrade the tier of any piece of gear, which is very nice. On the morning of day 9, I upgraded my crossbow to the highest tier possible, that way I could take down bigger threats and also tame them as well. Speaking of bigger threats, I needed something to protect me other than a PT and an RG, so I went out searching for something when I found the Storm Drake. So I started knocking it out. But Syzen, it's only level 16. I know, okay? But look, his stats are actually pretty decent, so I figured I'd give it a try, okay? Anyways, I marked him and then headed back home because I remembered from that AC2 loot crate, it gave me regular kibble, which is what I needed to tame this guy. And he's mine! After naming the Storm Drake Jax and then potting up the PT, I took him out on a spin to see what he could do, and he shot lightning balls, which was cool I guess. He did decent damage, but then I got jumped by not 1, but 2 T-Rexes, so I headed out because I was about to die. Spread your wings and fly! This is cool. It's pretty slow. So with my newfound friend, I wanted to be able to take down some of the modded alphas to get more loot crates, but I needed to level them up to do that, so for the rest of the day, I fought a bunch of helpless creatures. So after I felt ready, I in fact started taking down some modded alphas, which gave me these loot crates, and this one was pretty good if I do say so myself. Later that evening, I fought an even stronger alpha, which almost cost me my Storm Drake, which was very stupid, so I promised myself I wouldn't do it again. Until, I guess, the next day. You don't die on me. You don't die on me. Oh gosh, dude. What is my health? Oh my lord. Look at all the goodies. After playing with death, I decided to take a chill pill and headed to go get some rare resources, which involved going to the volcano for obsidian, metal, and crystal, and finding anthracite, whatever that is, and then I headed to the snow biome for oil. After finishing my resource run, I headed home and started making some cementing paste, that way I could craft a fabricator, because at this point in the game, I was held back without having one. So I extended my base further and crafted a platform for the fabricator, and then made some gasoline in the forges. The main reason I wanted one was so I could craft a refrigerator to hold all of the beautiful goodies I was getting from the loot crates, so I went out killing tech creatures for the easy electronics. But with appliances follows needing a generator, so I got that crafted as well, and all the necessary wiring. I placed down the generator and then got some fuel put inside, and for the first time in this playthrough, my base was fully powered. I'm so excited. Gasoline goes in and your boy has power. And after some further extension, I got my refrigerator placed, then threw all my kibble inside so it would never expire. When I was done playing Housewife, I decided I needed a beaver for wood farming, so I started knocking this guy out, but let me tell you, beavers do not like wood being stuck inside of them. I meant arrows. Arrows being whatever. When my beaver pal woke up, I named her Woody and then took a beautiful flight home. When I got back to my base, I tested Woody out on a couple of trees, and I gotta say that this wood farming is insane. And now that I had more wood than a lumberjack, I of course started finishing up my base, because it definitely needed it. After all that hard work, I decided to craft a full set of flak gear and then put it in my beautiful upgrade station and upgrade the tiers. Not only was this going to increase the durability of each piece, but also the armor, so I'd be protected. And before heading out on my next journey, I crafted cementing paste and narcotics for experience. Speaking of my next journey, I headed to this peaceful little cliffside where this Dodik lied, and I wanted to make it mine. If you don't know what a Dodik is, it's the strongest creature in the game, hands down. Anyways, when it woke up, I named her Polly and then decided to go on a different adventure. An adventure that consisted of killing this alpha, getting a loot crate, getting a very awesome item in this loot crate, which was this crossbow by the way, and then I was satisfied enough to head home. See, I say that, but on my way home I found a yellow supply drop, so I stopped here first, and I found 2 pretty awesome saddles. So after that, then I went home. I immediately got to farming, that way I would be set up on stone for a long time, and my next journey involved going in the water, so I had to craft myself a scuba tank. First things first, I needed to get myself a creature that could safely get me through the waters, because the ultimate goal was to tame an anglerfish. So I went ahead and knocked out this Suchomimus, tamed it up, and named it Mimi, which, by the way, this thing is like a glorified baryonyx, so not that great, but it was gonna do the job. This thing is like a Spino, it attacks the same, but it's just not as good. Anyways, afterwards there was no time to waste, so I tracked a level 116 angler and headed that way. This would be the first time in my Ark career that I've ever tamed one, but I know they're extremely good for gathering silica pearls. Once getting into the ocean, I headed down to the angler, but before even getting to it, it felt like I had to fight through waves of enemies. No shocky, no shocky. Oh wait, it doesn't shock him? Okay, maybe this guy is better than a Spino. Wow, okay, that's interesting. I like it. Once all the enemy dinos around me were killed, it was just me and the angler, so I knocked him out, threw some kibble in, and waited my time. And I wouldn't be Syzen if while waiting to tame something I didn't go kill everything in sight. Anyways, when the angler woke up, I named it Roz.
I'm watching you, Wazowski.
And then we of course headed to the bottom of the ocean for a silica pearl showcase, and man, this thing was beautiful. I've definitely been missing out because this made farming silica pearls so easy. I mean, look at that. The reason for all the pearls is because I was super close to being able to craft a chemistry bench, so later that night I killed this stego for some electronics, and I literally do not have a singular video clip for day 16, so sorry. Day 17 I crafted the rest of the electronics I needed to make my chemistry bench, so I got that crafted as well, placed down, and time to showcase like always. There's no better feeling than making cementing paste in this thing. Okay, maybe the forge has to wait. I forgot I added the Indominus Rex. Anyways, I got a fabricated sniper crafted, and then on day 18 I upgraded it, then crafted a bunch of ammo. The reason behind all of this madness is because I wanted to tame a brachy, so I got it up on its hind 2 legs like this, and you shoot him in his kneecaps and it increases the torpor. But if you're like me, and you have aim worse than a squirrel, this is a very long process because I missed a lot of shots and it causes torpor to drop faster than it was rising. The worst part of this whole process is me running out of ammo halfway through trying to tame it, so I had to book it home, craft some more inside of the fabricator without this brachy coming to kill all of the things I love. And I actually did it. The only reason me and my tames made it out of this situation alive is because during the taming process, sometimes the brachy will turn around and walk the other direction. Oh my lord, he turned around, thank you. So after dragging the brachy away from my base, I had to run back, get the ammo, and then I was able to start shooting his hind legs again. And I finally got there. Oh, don't reload, hurry, please, please. Shoot it. Okay. Oh, thank you! Timber, big fella. Ah, finally. Out of this entire playthrough, the brachy was the longest of the tame times, so while it was down, I looked through all the other possible creatures I could tame, but I had no idea what any of them did, so I just held off for now. What's a Torvosaurus? Oh yeah, and when taming a brachy, get ready to feed it narcotics every 2 seconds. After doing some research, the todikage was the coolest thing I could find at the moment, so I needed to craft these crazy arrows that exploded on impact to be able to tame it, so that's exactly what I did. But the todikage was all the way across the map, and I didn't feel comfortable leaving the brachy over here, so I waited around for it to tame. These arrows are expensive, but screw it. Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous, I just obliterated him! And finally, after the longest 2 days of my entire life, the brachy woke up and I named it Aldred. My reason for taming this thing is because, as you know, I have to fight the savage acro on day 100, and these things are really strong and they're actually called Giga killers, so if that tells you anything, I might have a chance. Yes, be scared. Please tell me this stomp just obliterates everything in my sight. Please be strong. Come on. Oh, anyways, now that the brachy fad was over, I took my Storm Drake and headed over to Carnivore Island where the todikage resided. What the hell is this thing doing? I don't even know what that is. He's kind of cool. Look at him standing on his tail. Oh, damn, that does a lot of torpor. Dude, he's like a little pogo stick. I love him. Well, that was an easy KO. The cool thing about these guys is their food drops really fast, so the taming process is quick. But when he woke up, of course I named him Hokage. But with night approaching, I wanted to get back to my safe zone, so I headed home, crafted a saddle for this guy, and took him on a literal test drive. Yes, he rolled around like a wheel. Okay, how do you use this guy? I'm in pogo stick mode. Wait, what am I doing? I don't know how to do this. Alright. Okay, cool, so I can shoot fire, does not fire balls. After rolling around for a while, I decided to kill alphas again when I found this cool thing that cost 748 megalodon teeth. See, I told you guys, this thing was only level 16 when I got it, but it just shreds through alphas. It's so strong. Speaking of strength, I needed to kill 50 acros to get their glands to be able to summon the final savage acro, so the Storm Drake made quick work of these guys. As you probably gathered, I started killing acros now because I might as well start on gathering these 50 glands for the final boss. You remember that dragon I saw at the beginning of the game? Well, I started poking at one, and I didn't realize how strong they were. But, okay, don't come at me. I know it says passive tame. It says passive tame at the top left. I know. Oh, and did I mention that these things can shoot fireballs through the mesh without any respect to physics? I know, it's crazy, right? So I went back to the same cliff without having learned anything, and I kept trying to knock out this passive tame when it destroyed my Storm Drake. Dude, how stupid can you be to do the same thing that you did wrong the first time? I'm so upset, man. I guess I'll try to knock this thing out still. This is what happens when you play the game for 10 hours straight and have no sleep and don't realize that it's a passive tame. So you go all the way to the snow biome, kill an Ovis, come back and realize that you can't tame it. I'm officially so over it. Dude, how dumb am I? Okay, don't answer that, but I headed home after my whole stupidity session, and at the end of the night, I made a feeding trough so all my tames could stay alive, and then I potted up some dinos because the next day, I was gonna do some cave runs. I had no clue if Mimi was up for the challenge, but I decided to give her a try, and within 30 seconds of being in the ocean, I found a freaking Alpha 2 cell. So things were going great. No. As I made my way into the cave, I had the realization that my server might be broken because there was hundreds and hundreds of creatures in here, and look at this overspawnage. Please do let me know if this is normal, because if it is, I'll shut my mouth, but I don't think this is normal. Anyways, after avoiding death at every corner, I finally made my way to the artifact and picked it up. Even though I didn't plan on fighting the Gamma broodmother until day 50, I wanted to be proactive and get all the artifacts I would need. By the end of day 24, I made it out of the cave and then headed to the next. Instead of running these underwater caves with Mimi, I should have gathered the patience and maybe tamed a Basilo or a Tuso, but here we are. Don't let this cave deceive you like it did me, because when I first got in here I was like, oh, what a beautiful cave, there's not a lot of creatures like the last one. And then they all started coming out of the walls, like this alpha megalodon right here. So, yet again, I ignored all of the creatures around me and just tried to get through this water as fast as possible. After avoiding everything and swimming for quite some time, I came up on the artifact room, which was terrible news for Mimi because she could not get up on this edge to save her life, so we had to go and fight everything in here. I might be able to take all of this stuff. I might be able to. I don't know, dude. Oh no, there's a jellyfish! Oh, Mimi, please forgive me. No, please forgive me in your afterlife. You're so dead, I'm sorry. Damn it, dude. That sucks. So you can get on the edge? There was too many mate-boosted creatures in here, and Hokage wasn't strong enough, so I had to resort to primitive tactics and kill everything in sight with my crossbow, which took forever. After killing everything, it was finally safe for me to go in the water, grab the next artifact, and try to get out of this place, but the eels said no. And not just the eels, but that alpha megalodon that was blocking the entrance started attacking me, and I had no option but to fight because Hokage was too slow to outswim it. We barely came out victorious, but but luckily it got me a lot of levels for Hokage, and after killing a few more enemies and swimming slower than a sloth itself, we finally made it out and flew to the next cave on day 27. At this moment, land caves were a lot easier for me to run, but that doesn't mean I was necessarily happy with where I was. Eventually, I'd like to get better cave runners for land and water. The hardest thing for me at this point was not knowing what any of the creatures from Ark Additions did and if any of them were good for caves, so I just stuck with what I had at the moment. All I could really do was waste a day at a time going to tame something that I've never tamed before and hoping that it could be better than the previous one. Anyways, after fighting through a bunch of creepy bugs and almost getting webbed by this spider, I had the artifact of the hunter in my sights and it was mine. Okay, no funky business. I don't need anything coming out of the walls to kill me. Alright, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna run the other direction. Goodbye, cave. On day 28, I made my way out of the cave and started flying towards one of those dragons that killed my storm drake earlier, and I was gonna try to tame it the right way this time. Oh, and let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this map. The correct way to tame these elder dragons is to wait until it goes into a defensive stance and then you throw meat on the floor, but he didn't like me the first time and spit fireballs at me. Oh, that was close. So the second time around, he took the imposing stance. I threw the meat on the floor, but the scorpion came after me and everything started going wrong. The dragon disrespected me directly and said my food wasn't good enough for him, so he got angry and started coming after me. What are you doing, bro? Eat the food! What are you doing? Oh, I'm dead. I'm so dead. There's no way I make it out, bro. Why are you so mad? I don't understand. Wait, am I alive? How did I make it out alive? I have no health. Just like old times, I came back for more, but the dragon was successful in killing me this time, so it left my RG stranded with this crazy psychopath for a while. But luckily, I still had my PT, so I headed back to the area to save my RG from death. I then jumped into the water to grab my stuff quickly, and headed out because I was officially done trying to tame this thing. Day 29, I made a bunch of gunpowder so I could make a bunch of ammo, that way I could try and tame an Acrocanthosaurus. They were another type of funky tame added in Ark Additions where you have to shoot them and deal a certain amount of damage to where they go into a defensive stance, and then you have to maintain that damage until they roar. Sounds like a fun time until you realize how much ammo this actually takes. Once they roar, you have to feed them biotoxin or narcotics, and then rinse and repeat until this thing is knocked out. Okay, bud, stop being so angry. We're so close. We're so close. Just roar. Just do the thing. Do the thing and roar. There we go. Oh, finally. We got him down, boys and girls. After throwing food into its inventory, it was another full day before it finally tamed. And when it did, I named it Millie Bobby Brown. I don't even know how I come up with these names. On the beautiful morning of day 31, I crafted the rest of the polymer and cementing paste I needed to be able to finally make the industrial forge. After doing so, I extended my base further yet again by adding a platform for the forge itself. My metal production has been very bad this entire game so far, so this was going to be a really nice upgrade for me. I was definitely going to need the metal, especially with the amount of bullets I'm crafting for taming bracchies and acros. Speaking of acros, I made a saddle and then took Millie Bobby Brown out on a killing spree. These things are basically mini Gigas with a strong stomp attack, a normal bite attack, and then if they take too much damage too fast, they'll go into savage mode and be reckless as hell. The only thing holding them back from being great is the fact that their health pool is kind of low and their damage reduction is bad even with a good saddle on it. I started off day 32 by killing an alpha raptor, getting a bunch of levels for my acro, and then going on a farming spree with Hokage and Polly. But that's all I got for you because I spent most of the day force feeding to heal my acro. Day 33 was just an alpha day overall. I brought my brachy out to see how easy it could take care of this, and, well, it one-shot it. As you can see, the brachy is pretty nutty when it comes to killing alphas, but after killing this one, I got a 422 chainsaw, which was awesome. And then later in the day, I pulled a stupid move and tried killing this thing with my acro, which almost cost me my acro. I screwed up. Get there. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm done. I'm going home. After my Acro's near-death experience, I decided it was probably a good time to upgrade this saddle, which I should have done in the first place. I then tracked a level 116 brachy and started knocking it down because I needed a male for a breeding pair. So basically a lot of ammo, a bunch of my time, and a bunch of narcotics, and eventually I'll get it.
Oh, someone's angry, aren't they, big guy?
Knocking this guy out the second time around was a lot easier because I knew what I was doing and I knew exactly where to shoot him. That being said, it is still a very time-consuming process whether you're a pro or not, but we finally got him down. So I threw kibble into his inventory and then I saw this Microraptor walking around, and you know we can't leave those things lurking. Anyways, day 35 I got bored, so I went home and made a mining drill and then started getting some flint, that way I could make more gunpowder. And I went to go head back to the brachy when I noticed that he was about to wake up and I would have been screwed. No, stay sleeping, please, just don't wake up. Oh my gosh, what's happening, okay, hurry. Oh, 26 torpor. After making a good catch, I decided to wait until the night for this guy to wake up, and when he did, I named him Seuss. Day 36, I got Aldred and Seuss to breed, and then I realized something. That Hokage can roll, and he does it really fast. Not only can he roll, but he can break through any structure that he's rolling through. So, that being said, he's one of the fastest tames that I had. And with that newfound freedom, I went around the map killing acro since I could do it at extreme speeds. Why is there crocodiles in the mountains? What the heck? Oh, guess we're about to find out if this takes fall damage. Oh, right to the acro. I like it. What do we got here? Pretty helmets. I'll take it, I guess. When I returned, I was greeted by my first brachy egg, so I made some air conditioners and then a platform to place them on. If you guys want to know what my rates are, just go ahead and check the description below. After throwing down the egg, I realized that my base was still not finished on day 37, so I went ahead and started adding the finishing touches on it, well, excluding a roof. While I still had daylight, I just focused on breeding because eventually I would need a buttload of creatures to fight the acro, so why not start now? Dude, these imprinted stats, they're insane, holy hell. And seeing as my base was still unprotected, I spent my evening and the morning of day 38 throwing up a wall. It's complete, finally. I'm protected. Day 38 was nothing exciting, but I pretty much just did more breeding, hatching eggs, and going crazy and talking to my dinosaurs. Look at all those cute little bastards. And to make things easier, I made a soul gun, that way I didn't have to run up to each individual dino, I just had to shoot them. I then crafted a storage box and named it Final Boss, that way when I was done breeding and leveling creatures, I would throw them in there for the savage acro fight. And all I did for the rest of the day was relax on my deck and then breed more bracchies. I don't have much from day 39, but what I do know is that I started a beer farm because I wanted to tame a Dinotherium. They are the newest creature in the Ark Additions mod, and it is a gigantic elephant with big tusks, a crazy stomp attack, and a devastating trunk swing attack. All I knew at the time is that these alcoholic elephants needed beer to tame, and that beer took forever to craft. Day 40 was mainly a chore day. I brought my Anki out to farm a bunch of metal, I did more background breeding, and I finally got the stats I wanted on my brachy line. And then for the second half of the day, I brought Hokage out so I could kill these oversized bugs for their polymer. Day 41 was another slow day. All I did was more chores at home and then checked on how many resources I still needed to craft the grinder, which I was close. And I understand the breeding in the background is getting redundant, but at the end of the video you will completely understand why. And I wanted to quickly show you guys how fast these bracchies were blowing through food. And since I've never made a metal base in any of my playthroughs, I decided that for the rest of the day I would replace anything that was wood with metal. And by the end of day 41, my army already consisted of 25 bracchies. Day 42, I did more base reconstruction, and then afterwards I headed out with Hokage so I could get oil. That was the last resource I needed to be able to craft the industrial grinder, which was going to be extremely useful seeing as the AC2 loot crates give you a bunch of good gear. Normally I would bring my RG and Anki over here, but I was trying to do things a little bit different and have a little bit more fun. So here I am with Hokage and a mining drill. When I got back to my base, I realized that my first batch of beer was complete, and you know what that means. It was time for me to go get myself a big elephant. So after some research, I found out that basically you kill all of the elephants that you don't want, and then the last standing one, you need to run away as far as you can to leave its aggro range. And then, once you return to the elephant, you'll have a standoff until he wiggles his ears or her ears, and then it'll want to be tamed. Dude, get out of here, man. You're so annoying. Okay, please work. Huh? Oh, you drank the beer. Okay. And after getting it to wiggle its ears a second time, I thought I was in the clear, but apparently it did not want to drink. What the hell, dude? You wiggled your ears. Oh, don't kill me. Okay, I'm running. After he was a big grumpy pants, I had one final standoff with it, and I learned at this point that there's 3 telltale signs that it wants to be tamed. It'll shake its head, then its trunk, and then the ears. At that point, you'll know that the elephant wants to be yours. Yeehaw, dude! After finishing with that Dinotherium, I headed towards a female so I could get a breeding pair. And I of course got started on killing all of the elephants I didn't want. This time I got a little bit impatient and didn't wait for all 3 signs, and you can clearly see that it backfired. I'm sorry, Mr. Elephant, I won't do it again. The worst part is the next morning, an acro, the other gender I needed for a breeding pair, came over and started fighting the elephant, so I decided to kill the Dinotherium and tame the acro instead. So I got my trap placed down and then gave it my best shot at getting the acro trapped, which, as you can see, this was terrible execution overall. I thought Hokage would fit through the gate, so this is extremely awkward. Please move. Thank you. Oh, you just walked right in it. Okay, well... Alright, don't bite me! Easy! And you know how this goes. I shoot it until it roars, and then I feed it narcotics. Unfortunately, I ran out of sniper bullets, and clearly the crossbow route doesn't work, so I didn't get my Dinotherium or my acro. Well, that is until later in the day when I found another pack, so I killed all of the ones I didn't want, and then I waited for it to wiggle its pretty ears. Okay, come on, do it. There we go. Now, I'm kind of iffy on approaching you. Don't stomp me. Come on. Let's go! Day 45, I realized that Hokage was built like a titan and couldn't eat food, so he would die eventually. I was then finally able to craft the industrial grinder, so I got it placed down and then threw in all of the loot that I've gotten so far, and boy, was it worth it. Oh my lord, this is gonna be so good for the upgrade station, dude. Holy hell. And you know how it is at this point. I tended to breeding for the rest of the day, and then I also found out that I got my first couple of mutations on my bracchies. After hearing the good news, I figured that I would need a decent shotgun for cave runs later on in the game, so I started upgrading the one I had. I started off day 46 by gathering all of the beer that I had been brewing, and then I started breeding my Dinotherium so I could eventually fight the broodmother. And then I saw that their saddles were hella expensive, especially when you needed to craft 19 of them. I started increasing all of the tiers on the Dinotherium saddles, and that's when I remembered about the augment station, which allows you to increase armor, damage numbers, and durability on armor, weapons, and saddles. So of course, after remembering this information, I worked on the saddles and on my own armor. I then gathered the next few Dinotherium babies I had, and by the end of the day, I was happy with how my team was looking. They all look so beautiful. Day 47, I headed to Green Ob to see what I needed to fight the Gamma Broodmother, and I only had one of the artifacts, so I needed a new cave runner, and that's exactly what I got started on. I tracked a Sinotyrannus because it sounded cool, and then I made some ammo to protect myself, headed out to go see this guy, and started taming him. Oh, he's got a tailspin? Dude, this thing is kind of cool. I just hope it's not too big to fit through caves. Oh, is he running at me? Okay, he's running at me. Run. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Oh my gosh, the raptor's on my bird. What is going on? There's so much. And now you're running away. And now that all that nonsense was over, she finally went down, so I threw kibble in the inventory and decided to wait here. And normally, Ark throws curveballs at you every 5 seconds, but this time it gave me a blessing. Because as I was waiting for this Sinnoh to tame, the opposite gender walked by, and it was at a high level, so I started working on this one as well. And that's when I found out that they could shoot poisonous spikes out of their tails, so it made it even more appeasing to tame. But after chasing this guy down for a while, I finally got him knocked out. Not too long after, my first Sinotyrannus woke up, and then I just waited for the second. After making it back home on day 48, I started breeding my 2 Sinotyrannuses because I wanted an imprinted one for cave runs. So after not too long, they gave me my first egg, so I went ahead and hatched it, and that's when I figured out that these things produce Sinnoh thorns in their inventory over time. What these thorns do is it's their version of ammo, so as long as it's in their inventory, you can shoot spikes, and it also allows you to craft and upgrade their saddles. So after getting 2 babies I was happy with, I started upgrading the saddles, and then I finished the day off with some more breeding and housework. Day 49, I got a line of Dinotherium that I was happy with for the Gamma broodmother, so I started letting them raise and then hatching more Sinotyrannus eggs. The babies look like little pegos. I like the name Bruce. I like that. That's awkward. I'm sorry. Brucine. We'll do Brucine. You'd think by now that I've gotten the point across with breeding, but a lot of my early game days were filled with it because, to be quite frank, I was terrified of the savage acro and had no idea what to expect. From now on, you guys can just call me Master Breeder Syzen because that actually sounds terrible. I'm a master breed... No. I'm a breeder master. There we go. Oh boy. Okay. When the Sinotyrannus fully matured, I hopped on the back to try and learn the moveset, but I couldn't figure out how to shoot the spikes, so I just moved on. And by the end of day 49, I had half of my army complete for the Gamma broodmother. And just like that, I was halfway done with my 100 days, but in the morning I made shotgun ammo and then headed to the next cave location so I could get another artifact. With this being the island, most of the caves are fairly easy to run with the exception of few, and you'll see that later. But anyways, I made my way into the lava cave and immediately got jumped by a Megalania who in fact gave me rabies. Luckily, this was one of the only playthroughs I've ever done where I leveled the hell out of my health pool, so I was gonna be okay. And that's for giving me rabies, you butthole. This cave had no fancy puzzles or insane rocket science mathematic mechanics, but there was just a lot of fighting, so after making my way through all these waves of enemies... You guessed it, there was even more waves of enemies. Honestly, at this point, I felt like there was something wrong with my server. Like you saw earlier in the caves, there was an overspawnage of everything. Wasn't there a movie where this guy, like, tight-roped across 2 buildings and it was like a big illegal thing? Well, that's how I feel. Ah, the enemies are never ending. On day 51, I made it to the jumping and grappling portion of the cave, which involved me going by myself. I just feel like I'm unstoppable. You guys have no chance, I'm sorry. Once I made it to the end of the cave, I completely missed an explorer node on my right, but I grappled my way over to the artifact when I got jumped by everything and their mothers. Oh, that's a lot of stuff, I didn't even notice that. Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, no. Okay. Alright, we'll be fine. Oh, I got the rabies again. Come on, dude, I just got rid of them. Alright, give me a chance to reload. Okay, alright. We're fine. We're good. I'll survive, I'll survive, I'll survive, I'll survive. Okay. Okay. Alright, 2 more. Right, no, 3. Get off, dude! Gosh! Okay, we're good, we're good. Give me this damn artifact. After grabbing the artifact of the massive, I grappled my way back over to Finn and started making my way out of the cave. Oh, Tina, my beautiful bird, it's so good to see you again. Okay, let's go. And then I headed to the last cave location I needed before fighting the broodmother, so I immediately ran in and got started on killing everything. Oh, my lord, your head is too damn big for this place. And more stuff, okay. On day 51, after fighting through even more enemies, I had finally made it to the final artifact that I needed to fight the broodmother. And now that I did have everything to fight her, I had to head straight home and start on a massive grind because I had a lot of leveling to do and a lot of saddles to make. So when I got home, I started on all of that stuff, I made the saddles, and then I upgraded them as much as I could with the resources that I had. And now, if you would, just sit back and enjoy the 2-day leveling grinds that I had to go through with these Dinotherium. And with my leveling being complete, I headed straight to the green obelisk and threw out all of my Dinotherium and my other dinos that I would be bringing in as well. I want you guys to make a mental note of the fact that I brought Hokage in. Just remember that for me. I would be riding my acro as my main mount, but the next morning I threw all my important stuff I didn't want to lose into my RG's inventory and then loaded up the boss. I know it's Gamma, but I am so nervous for some reason. We got this. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's do this, boys and girls. Alright, you big elephants, it's time to prove your worth and show me it was worth breeding you for so very long. Oh, they're not even all attacking. Oh no, they're so big that half of them can't even make it to the broodmother. This is gonna be a very long fight. And boom! Oh dude, that's so cool, man. I love the acro. I think it's already been like, what, 3 or 4 minutes, and we're only at half. This may have been the wrong decision, but they're tanking out the damage, so that's good. What the hell is happening? No! Hokage just set all of the elephants on fire, bro. No! I did not know he could do that. Don't kill any of them, please. Just, what the hell, dude? Oh, we got there. Let's go. The main reason I wanted to do this fight is for the element, but unfortunately I didn't get enough to craft the egg for the Indominus Rex, so I was gonna have to do another boss fight. But I potted everything up and headed home and did my victory roar. Day 56, I got my flag placed down and then looked at the requirements for the Indominus Rex egg, and then shortly after started upgrading my saddles even further for the dragon fight. Yeah, you heard me right, I was gonna fight the dragon, but on alpha this time. And to do that, I needed more water cave artifacts, so I made a Basilo saddle and started upgrading it. So on day 57, I headed to the beach to go get myself a Basilo. Oh, what the hell are you, dude? As soon as I made my way into the waters, I noticed there was narwhals as a part of this mod, so I chased one down and tamed it up. And you didn't need a saddle for these guys, so I just rode it all the way down to the Basilo. Narwhals aren't strong and they don't have any crazy abilities, but they have remarkable health regeneration, which makes fighting a lot safer. Anyways, after taking out all of the mantas surrounding the Basilo, I started taming it, and then it was time to wait. Whoa, do you see that health? What? After 9 years and an arm and a leg, I finally tamed the Basilo and named him Jughead. Being on the back of one of these while running underwater caves makes me feel a lot safer because I can't get electrocuted off the back of it from jellyfish or eels, and they're pretty damn strong. Anyways, I made my way down to the Psychopath water cave where a bunch of damn stuff was last time and started fighting my way through it yet again. Oh, here we go with the 3,000 megalodons. Dude, they're freaking mate boosted. I'm doing like no damage. Oh, really? Yeah, nice try with the shocking. That's not gonna work. I needed 10 Tuso tentacles to be able to fight the alpha dragon, and luckily for me, there was a couple of them down here, so I didn't have to go searching everywhere for them. This is ridiculous! What the... Dude! Oh my... Okay. Alright, I'm actually taking quite a bit of damage, dude. Let me go. Let me go, you freaks. I decided it was best if I didn't fight through everything and just went and grabbed the artifact. Dude, this is freaking insane! Oh my gosh. What the hell? So after fighting World War III a second time, I finally grabbed the artifact and moved on with my life. And when I say moved on with my life, I mean fighting through World War IV. This is just obnoxious at this point. What do you... This is unimaginably stupid. Fix your game, brother. I have finally almost killed them all. Thank you, thank you. As I made my way out, I killed one more Tuso for good measure and also got inked. So, at the end of the day, I figured I would get started on gathering all of the trophies I would need to fight the dragon, which began with killing Basilos for their blubber. When I finished that, I went home and threw my Basilo in my little pond, and then I went ahead and made a box for all of the tributes and trophies that I would need for the fights. Shortly after, I headed to the Redwoods so I could run the gas cave, which, if you don't know, make sure when you come here you bring a gas mask or you're gonna be dead really quick. You see, I say that, but I completely forgot, so I headed in here and I was kindly let know that when I took 30 damage per tick, I should probably head home and make a gas mask. So I brought my dumb self back to my base, crafted a gas mask, and then I was ready to take on the crazy gas cave. Enjoy this relaxing, satisfying, yellow-screened killing of a billion dragonflies as I fought my way through here. Oh yeah, and I also accidentally stepped in this water, and I didn't know there was a bunch of leeches in here, so my dino got leached to hell and back. Do you want to tell me my server isn't broken? Well, rethink your answer, dude. Holy hell. Anything good? Oh, that's pretty good. I'll take it. Okay, the Sinnoh might be too big for these caves. Don't touch me, dragonflies. I'm just walking through. Okay. See what we got. Really? That's so bad. Well, come on, man. Get back on Finn. Get back on Finn. After fighting through the swarms over and over, I was finally greeted by the artifact of the immune. And now there was only 2 caves left that I had to run, which were the 2 that I was most scared of. In the snow biome. We're free! Get me out of here. So I made my way over to the snowy mountains and challenged one of the hardest caves on this map first. That way I had the easier one second. I like my logic. The reason this cave is so extremely dangerous is because it's all of the scary things in one place. You have yetis, direwolves, polar bears, perlovia, and not to mention it is cold as hell. Oh yeah, and don't be a big dum-dum like me and just chill in this water because it's extremely deadly and will damage you and your dino over time. So, yeah, don't do that. Most of the caves have been a cakewalk so far, but this one did not let up the entire time I was fighting something or running for my life. And make sure you pot up your dinos before going in a cave, otherwise they'll die. Day 61, while still in here, I realized I was freezing to death, so I started running around like a chicken with its head cut off to lower my food so I could then heal myself. It was a lot, okay? After putting on my ghillie shirt that I found in one of the caves and running into this corner, I was finally not freezing anymore, so here I sat for a while. I'm so dumb, I had a torch this entire time. And it wasn't until this very moment that I realized the water does in fact damage the hell out of you. We be chugging along through the cave. Oh my lord, dude. Why? There's always so much stuff. During my very first moment of peace, I found my first red loot crate so far in this entire game, and it offered me a really good scuba tank. Oh, the things I do for you guys. Leave me alone! Why aren't the Perlovia attacking me, dude? There's so many... Oh, I just jinxed the hell out of myself. I'm so... How am I not dying? Oh, he's too tall. I am so lucky. I'm the luckiest man alive. Okay. Wow, that was close. After proving my worth, I had finally made it to the artifact, and luckily I didn't drop down into that water, because that looks like straight up death to me. Oh, come to me, baby. That was so well earned, honestly. After grabbing the artifact, I made my way out of this dangerous cave, and now that I didn't have Tina anymore, I had to go find myself another RG. And then I thought, a Harpagornis is an RG but just way faster, so I figured I would get that. What the heck is that? Oh, it's a fuzzy brachy. After sightseeing, I made it to the Harpagornis, so I started loading it with trank arrows, and then it flew at me at hyperspeed. I finally just said screw it and stood on the back of my Sino while shooting this thing with arrows because it didn't hit that hard. And luckily for me, it passed out before getting away because I never would have caught up to this thing. Time to eat your din-din. After a quick tame, I named it Joey's Harpy, and if you know, you know, but I started working on the stuff for the saddle, got it made, potted Finn up, and then headed out. And now that I had my wings back, there was one more cave I had to run before fighting the dragon. Myself, personally, I've never really played on the island all that much, so this cave was like a damn maze to me, and I got lost a bunch. But after fighting my way through spiders and bats, I heard the artifact. We're almost there, yes! And there's more bats. Please don't give me rabies, you son of a gun. Okay, let's grab this thing. Alright, now the real question is, how the hell do I get out of here? Well, luckily I have 2 grapples left on me. I'm gonna try not to use it! Okay. Oh, God, that's a freaking hole! Is this the way out? It is. It is. Okay, we're done. We're done with the artifacts. Now we just have to get a couple more tributes, and then we fight the dragon. And since I was already in the snow biome, I figured I would take out all the Uties I needed for their lungs. And then I learned that the Harpagornis has a dive, which is amazing. It made it so much faster. After finishing up with the Uties, I had to get aloe brains, so I killed some of those and then made a dumb decision to fight this stupid Giga on this mountain with my favorite Sino, and this happened. I messed up. I'm so sorry, Finn. Run, dude, run! Oh, that sucks. The worst part about fighting a Giga is that if you lose a tame to it, it'll fully heal by eating it. So, that being said, I headed home so I could grab Millie Bobby Brown, aka my acro, and I was going to rip this thing to shreds. I needed my revenge. Alright, Mr. Punk Ass, it's time. Come here. My ego may have been a little too large, I'll admit that, but if it wasn't for the Giga getting stuck in me, I would have died, because he was doing a lot of damage at the beginning of the fight, so fortunately enough for me, he managed to somehow get stuck in me a second time. Okay, now that I know I'm gonna win this fight, I'm gonna talk my crap again. You suck, and I'm the alpha. How does that feel? This right here is a perfect showcase of what should have happened the first time. Oh, I was definitely way too confident. Dude, he's shredding through my health. I really hope this acro is faster than the Giga. Start running, brother. You will die if you don't run. I can't see. Oh, my lord. Please get lost in the tree. Somehow I made it out of that situation alive, so I needed to go back to the drawing board, which meant bringing the biggest threat I had to the table. The Brachiosaurus, when it goes on its hind two legs, does a devastating smash that, as you saw at the beginning of the game, can deal massive damage. They call these things the Giga Killers for this specific reason. So after some quick leveling, it was time to go get the second heart I needed to fight the dragon. Alright, and boom! Look at the damage, dude! This thing is going down. This thing is so screwed. By the end of the fight, Aldred was super low on health, but so was the Giga, so I charged on my hind two legs and attempted to do the smash, but it wasn't fast enough because Aldred died shortly after. But I got what I came for. I got the 2 Giga Hearts and all of the other trophies I needed for the fight, so I gathered all of my creatures and then got the veggie cakes from the AC2 loot crates, and then shortly after I headed to the Red Obelisk. Day 66, I loaded up the terminal and then put everything important from my inventory into the RGs once again, and then I loaded up the fight. Oh, dude, I was so underprepared. I didn't bring med brews, and my armor's terrible for this. Oh, the Dimorphodons. I can't die like this again. No, I can't die like this again. Dude, this sucks, man. So many of my elephants are stuck on that thing, not even attacking. At this point, I had a terrible feeling about this fight. It was very rushed and underprepared, but I was gonna see it through. Oh, y'all weren't just playing around, you're actually stuck. I thought you were just playing games with me, dude. Oh, we're so screwed, man. Unfortunately, there wasn't much I could do to help with damage because I was running from Dimorphodons this entire fight. Dimorphodons are the bane of my existence. Yo, just leave me alone, dude. Just leave me alone, please. At this point in the fight, all of my Dinotheriums except the stuck ones were dead, so the aggro of the dragon was fully on me, and it was just a matter of time. My acro's strong, but dude, 132 damage, man. These Dimorphodons are cracked. Damn, Hokage, looks like it's just you and me, brother. You and me till the end. Get out of my way! No! It was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. It was gonna happen. That sucks, man. My spirits were definitely down, especially since I returned home after the fight to find all of my water tames in my little pond to be dead, so that was a thing. And since I didn't have a flyer on me, I spent the rest of day 66 and the morning of day 67 traveling by foot all the way to Red Obelisk to get my RG and all of my stuff back. At this point, I was definitely feeling lost. I didn't know what tames would be the best for the dragon fight that were from Ark Additions, so I just started taming random stuff again and seeing what was the strongest. The first tame I started on was a Torvosaurus, which turns out they're really bad and I never used it a single time, but I figured I would show this because it was still part of my journey. So of course, after loading it with trank arrows, it started running away and then I got it knocked out, threw some kibble in its inventory, and waited for it to tame. The next thing I wanted to go for was a Valli, which turned out to be one of the coolest creatures in this mod, so I headed towards that. Oh my gosh, this is giving me primal fear flashbacks. What is causing this? It's like an anteater. What? By the end of the day, I made it to the Valli, which is a really easy knockout because it was focused on a dead body instead of me.
Come on, baby, go down.
Yes. There we go. On the morning of day 68, I threw some kibble into the Valli's inventory, waited by the fire, and then got a little tipsy, if you will. I feel like I deserve this drink. Afterwards, the thing that was setting fire to the world came over to me, so I was gonna kill it until I found out that when you attack them, it sets fire to you. So I had an idea that maybe if that fire damage was percentage based, you could probably take down a Giga pretty easily. And luckily for me, as you can see, this guy was pretty derpy, so it was an easy tame since he got himself stuck. When the Valli finally tamed, I named it Vinny, and then shortly after that, my Antio was tamed as well. So I went ahead and potted up both of my brand new dinos and then headed home, started working on a whole new set of flak armor, and then upgrading it to the max. Afterwards, I made the Valli saddle and all the accessories that went along with it, and then got him strapped up and started testing him out. I knew there was something I was missing, but just on land he wasn't that dangerous. But then I looked up his moveset, which involved angler gel, so I grabbed that, potted Vinny up, and then headed to the water cave. He also had an electric shield, which involved biotoxin, so I farmed the floating jellyfish and then activated it. Why do I feel like this thing's gonna be so strong? This was one of the most badass creatures that I've ever used in this game. So he had an electric shield, a crazy fire breath attack, but then I also learned that he has this insane dash that makes you go really fast. But on a side note, as you can see, I'm going for all 4 artifacts again because I wanted to fight the dragon again and actually win this time. So by the end of day 69, I had got off my Valli, grabbed the artifact, absolutely shredded through this alpha, and then I came to the conclusion that the Valli Bonaventrix was one of my new favorite creatures in Ark. But after pumping levels into health, the morning of day 70, I spent a lot of my time force feeding so I could get ready to fight my way out. But that was 1 artifact down. I still needed 3 more, so I potted Vinny up and then headed to the gas cave to get that over with. Let's see. Oh, baby. Damn. Day 71, I finally made my way to the artifact, grabbed it, and then started making my way out of the cave. Dude, this leech is gonna drive me nuts, man. I'ma be honest, I never knew you could remove these, so I feel dumb. After that, I made my way to the maze cave in the snow biome and started attacking this one. After grabbing the artifact, I made my way to this part, choked the jump, and used my last grapple, but fortunately for me, I made it. I hate this cave. It took me 71 days to remember the fact that I allowed cave flyers on this playthrough, so I brought my Harpagornis into the final cave with a lot more peace of mind. My Harpagornis made this cave so much easier to run, but I celebrated way too early because if you didn't know, Purlovia exists for one reason and one reason only. Oh, we're done with artifacts. Oh no, 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 no. Oh lord. Oh, dude. Oh no, there's polar bears, bro. Okay, what do I do? I want to save him. Dude, he's taking so much damage. Come on. Oh, I'm so dead, dude. Come on. Oh, this is so hectic. And my Harpagornis is dead. Son of a freaking gun, dude. After fighting my way through, I finally made it out of the cave without a flyer, so I started going for another Harpagornis. And it only made sense to go for the opposite gender for a breeding pair while I was still out. And while I was waiting for this thing to tame, I figured I'd start working on Yudi trophies. By the end of the day, the RG tamed and I brought it home to start breeding immediately. Day 74, I got my first egg and then decided that I wanted to bring Theries into the dragon fight for my final attempt. 19 Theries with a bunch of veggie cakes is damn near unstoppable, so I got the first one knocked out, tamed up, and then I started working on the second. After letting this thing beat me up, I finally got it knocked out, but in the water, and luckily, its oxygen wasn't dropping. On day 75, after waiting quite some time, the second Thery woke up, so afterwards I headed home and got to breeding for my dragon team. Afterwards, I crafted an industrial cooker and then placed it down so I could eventually craft med brews and veggie cakes. And for the rest of the day, I bred Theries for my dragon team, Harpagornises for my acro team, and then got started on a greenhouse. Day 76, I continued on with the builds, laying down foundations and crop plots. And then it only made sense for me to start crafting med brews because I was going to need them for the dragon fight the second time around. Unfortunately, it was already day 76, so I was running out of time to be able to make a crazy mutated Thery team, so I was going to have to settle with what I could do. Anyways, I started throwing up greenhouse walls and then got all my plumbing placed so my plots could be irrigated. Thery breeding, of course, carried on throughout the day, and I checked on my acro team box, which was coming along very well. By the end of the night on day 76, I had finally finished my greenhouse, and then on the morning of day 77, I got myself a Phiomia so I could make a buttload of poop for fertilizer. So after gathering all of my turds and throwing them in each of the crop plots, I got my seeds placed and they started growing. After doing that, I crafted all 19 Thery saddles I would need for the fight, I hatched up some more babies, and then I started upgrading all of those Thery saddles. Upgrading saddles wasn't difficult, but more time-consuming because of the amount of hide, fiber, wood, and all of the other resources you would need. Anyways, after strapping some Theries with decent saddles, I made a couple of tree sap taps and then a tree platform. The reason being is veggie cakes need sap, and a lot of it at that, so I got started on this, that way I would have enough for the dragon fight when that time came. Day 78, I headed back to the redwoods, and sure enough, my taps were already producing, so after that I just needed bee honey, which this was my grand idea of gathering. After gathering some bee honey, I was able to make a few veggie cakes, and then I got the rest of my Theries saddled up and ready to start leveling. And on day 79, that's exactly what I did, so here's a Thery leveling montage for you to enjoy. When debating on a main mount for the boss, I thought of the Antiosaurus because of the fire protection, which was this symbol at the bottom right, so I started leveling him as well. Antios also have a bleed attack and insane health regeneration, so this seemed like a pretty good candidate for what I needed it for. By day 82, I was finished with Thery leveling, and all I needed was 2 Giga hearts, and then I could fight the dragons, so I brought my bracchies over to a Giga and started fighting it. As you could see, brachy's clearly weren't the best way of taking down Gigas, but I was already here and committed, so I decided to finish the fight. By nightfall, I was down to my final brachy that I had brought with me, and just hoping that it was going to be enough to take this guy down. I was able to finally kill the Giga and get my first heart, and then I thought to myself that the Ankylosaurus has fire damage and bleed damage and insane health regeneration, so, sure enough, it started shredding through this Giga's health. Fighting continued on until day 83, but we finally killed the Giga, and now we had all of the tributes we needed to fight the dragon a second time. It was now or never. I wanted to complete my challenge of destroying any boss on Alpha, but it was day 83, so if I failed here, I wouldn't be able to try again. Anyways, after the Giga fight, I headed straight to Red Obelisk, got my Theries and Antio on the platform, and then started passing out all of the veggie cakes to my Theries. Anyways, there was no time to waste. I loaded up the fight and hoped that I could take down the dragon once and for all. As you can see here, my theory was correct with the fire protection because I crossed the lava and I was taking 0 damage, so I felt a lot safer in this fight.
We got it, boys. We're there this time. We're gonna get it this time. Go down, you stupid dragon! Thank you.
Oh, I feel so much better. When I got out of the fight, I potted up all of my Theries, and then I noticed I got a whopping 440 elements, so I took my victory flight home. To craft an Indominus egg, I needed to kill 2 Alpha T-Rexes for their tributes, so I got started on that. And when I finished with that, I put all my Theries in my acro box and figured I'd use them for the fight as well. I then put down my dragon flag and threw up both boss trophies onto my wall. And since I was still short about 100 dinos for the acro fight, I once again got started on that. The first thing I did on day 85 was head to the artifact of the Hunter Cave to get that so I could craft the Indominus Rex egg, because that was the last thing I was missing. So of course when I got home I crafted the egg itself and then I threw it down and saw that it was going to take 22 minutes. Afterwards I crafted 200 soul traps and my goal was to fill every single one of them with a dino before the fight. I may have been over preparing, but I have the reputation of losing every boss fight, so something needed to change. But things were taking a turn for the better. I finally got mutations on my Theory line, and then I threw out as many brachy babies as I possibly could to let them all mature, and then I would start leveling them later on.
Look at all those babies.
And by the end of the day, I added 27 more brachy's to the team. On the morning of day 86, my Endom Rex finally hatched, so I started taking care of it. Let's get this guy out. I don't want you to wander. How can I stop you from wandering? I don't really feel like building a trap for you. Why are you wandering? Please, stop it. Disable wandering. Okay. Now let's whistle stop. There we go. I just want to check your stats, dude. Damn, that's pretty good. Whoa! What are you doing? You attack me? Okay, go in the pot. Alright, this is a fail. Let me get my gun. Why are you attacking me, bro? Oh, okay, so I spend the time building you a trap, and yet you still just walk right out of it. Oh, my lord. That was high. Okay, this is ridiculous. But I finally learned that if you throw them in timeout in the corner near no dinos and no humans, they will not attack anything. So that's exactly what I did. Until my beautiful creation fully matured on day 87.
Let's see what the skin looks like. Oh, that is so cool. What else can you do? Normal attack. You can go invisible? Oh, that's so cool. It's a little roar.
After playing around, I named it Rapture, and then I did my daily box check, and it was looking amazing. I spent most of day 88 leveling my new Indominus Rex, and I gotta say this thing was pretty damn strong, and it was extremely fast too, so it was like the full package. At the end of the day, after leveling was complete, I started working on saddles with the last remaining resources I had. Day 89, I made a time-lapse to show you what the format of the last 9 days of this playthrough would be like, because it was all breeding, and I am not going to show 10 days worth of just breeding. I just want to take a quick break and thank you guys for making it this far into the video and continuing to love and support my channel, but I welcome you to the final 10 days of my insane journey. This right here was easily my favorite part of the entire playthrough because I was killing unclaimed bracchies when they started attacking back. I should not have let it get this far, dude. Oh, man. There goes my gate. Okay, kill him, kill him. Oh, my gosh. Okay, that just almost killed me. Dude, they are killing all my bracchies. At this point, my army was complete, but I still needed to level them all, so for the next 5 days, I did that non-stop. But on the bright side, brachy babies give an insane amount of experience, as you can see.
Shoot, dude, this is like a horror movie. Attack of the bracchies. Oh my gosh, dude, what have I done? Oh man, dude, there's too many. Don't smash me. Don't smash me. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in here. Oh, this isn't good. There's so many of them. Move, move, move. I'm so dead. I'm so dead right now. These are my own bracchies. Holy crap. Okay, well, I'll just pass right through you. Unfortunately, in the whole process of me trying to fix my mistakes, I lost 10 of my bracchies. These guys were relentless. I'm assuming they didn't like the fact that I was killing the babies around them, so, let's not do this again. Dude, there's so many eggs, bro. But the last Dinotherium was fully leveled, so now it was just time to get all of the bracchies ready to go. On day 99, my team was fully leveled and ready to go, so I gathered them all up, but unfortunately I did not have time to heal them. Anyways, we headed to Death Valley for one final fight.
the acro. Bro, this is scarier than Picon's Revenge. Oh god, get out of my way. Oh, dude, get off. Oh man, those harpies are ripping through his health. That is insane looking. Oh, first dangerous attack. Okay, let me back up. Alright, Theres, it is your turn. I feel like these harpies are about to get ripped through. Yeah, they're already starting to fall, man. Go in, boys. Oh, man. I'm so scared right now. Dude, they are crazy, man. That looks like something out of a horror movie. Alright, you guys go in too. Dude, he's already at half health. Is this supposed to be hard? I mean, yeah, stuff is falling, but I have a bunch more. Oh my god. I take it back. I take it back, dude. You guys need to go now. I don't have words. I don't have words, dude. Oh no, dude, he's taking capped damage. Oh, okay. Things have completely turned. I'm so scared now. Okay. Another dangerous attack already? You just did one, my man. Savage Acro is very angry. Be careful. Yeah, no, y'all need to go fight. Kill this man right now. Dude, that is crazy, man. He is so low on health right now, and he's just not dying. He's just wiping everything out. Look at all those loot bags. Oh no, he's going to attack my passive stuff. No. Oh, dude. Just die. Another? They just keep coming with those attacks, man. This man has wiped out over half of my brackies, more than that. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. There's space between us right now. Go, brackies. Go. Come on, man. Oh, of course I'm sucking your tail. Move! Oh, that's not good. That's not good! How am I alive? How did that not kill me? Oh my gosh, dude. Those brackies kind of just saved my life. Oh, shoot, man. Hurry. Come on. Die, dude. Die. He's so close to death, man. Come on, man. Come on. We're so close. We're gonna get this. We're getting this, dude. We're getting this. Let's go. Oh my god, I didn't think I was gonna get it. Oh my god, oh my. Guys, we did it, and we didn't even use a single Dinotherium. We freaking did it, man. That was the most epic fight I've ever done in this game. Well, you guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for sticking to the end with me, and always remember, I love you all, and I'll see you next time.